Hey, online learners. So, you got an assignment recently called the Red Cabbage assignment. And so in this assignment, you're going to be conducting an experiment that required some household materials. But I got to thinking, maybe some of you don't have all the household materials that you might need to complete this experiment. So what I wanted to do for you, I want to make your lives a little bit easier. And I'm going to perform this experiment for you, just so you can see what the results look like and complete this assignment, hand it in, and get a good grade as well. So recently in this unit on chemicals, we've been learning about different chemicals. We've been learning about the different properties of chemicals, and most recently, we've been taking a look at different acids and bases. And you know that acids have very unique properties and bases have unique properties as well. And so in this assignment, we are actually going to be determining whether or not these are acids or bases in front of me from these four chemicals, these four household products. And we are actually going to be determining what the pH of each of these chemicals is based off of a really cool color change. And so right here, hopefully the color comes in nice and clear for you. But this is a purple solution. And you would have read through this in the assignment, but this is actually red cabbage juice. And so I cut up a red cabbage, chopped it up, and then all I did, I poured boiling water over top of it and let it sit for 10 minutes. And all this kind of weird purple bluish color kind of floods out of the red cabbage. And you extract that, and you put it into a cup. And when I pour this red cabbage juice into each of these cups, we are going to notice a color change. And your assignment, you are going to have to tell me which of these chemicals is an acid or a base, as well as what the pH of each of these chemicals is as well. And so in doing the pre-lab questions, you would have reviewed this red cabbage acid-base indicator. Okay, you already know what color indicates what pH level, and that will tell us whether these chemicals are acidic or basic. All right, so I'm going to perform this in a minute here, but I just want to go over what is actually in front of me. So this is cup number 1, and in cup number 1 I have lemon juice. Cup number 2 in front of me right here, this is ginger ale. Cup number 3 in front of me right here, this one is baking soda. And at the very end, cup number 4 is soap. Just regular old clear soap. And so what I'm going to be doing, in each of these cups, I'm going to add a little bit of a red cabbage juice solution here. And like I've been saying, when I pour the solution into each of these cups, we are going to notice a color change. That color change is going to tell us whether or not this chemical is an acid or a base, as well as what its pH levels are. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to pour the red cabbage solution into my first cup here. Just one second. Slide this over. All right, so if you did answer those pre-lab questions, I want to touch on this quickly as well. So if we see a red color change, that's going to indicate that this has a pH of 2. If we see a purple color change, it's going to signify a pH level of 4. Violet is a pH of 6. Blue color change is a pH of 8. A blue-green color is a pH of 10. And then if we see a yellow color, that is going to signify a pH of 12. All right, so let's actually get this experiment going. So I'm going to single out my first cup here, bring it into the frame. and we have our lemon juice. So hopefully this goes to plan. All right, so I'm gonna pour a little bit of this indicator into my cup until I start to notice a color change. Boom. And there you have it. So what I need you to do now is to record this color change on your assignment and tell me, based off of this color, what do you think the pH of lemon juice is? All right, so that's cup number 1. I'll bring that up so you can get a better look at this color change here. All right, cup number 1, lemon juice. All right, coming next into the frame is our ginger ale. All right, so pop. So once again, I'm going to pour my red cabbage acid base indicator into my second cup. And again, you are going to record the color change on your assignment and what you think the pH of this chemical is based on that color change. Cool. All right, so this one does look very similar to cup number 1. So I'm just going to bring cup number 1 back into the frame just so you can compare the colors here as well. So you'll notice that there is a difference in color. Maybe the cup number 2, maybe it is a bit more dark, maybe it appears more red. And the cup number 2 here almost looks a little bit more pink, kind of like a violet purpley color here as well. So they both changed colors. They are very similar in color, but one seems to be a bit darker, more red. One seems to be a bit more violet pink sort of color. All right, so number 1, number 2, make sure you've recorded these color changes in your assignment and make sure you've written down what you think the pH of lemon juice was and the pH of the pop was. And again, you are just basing this off of right now, the color change that happened here. All right, now, bringing into the frame, we have baking soda, okay? Just a little white powdery substance at the bottom here. So I'm going to once again take my red cabbage acid base indicator. I'm pouring it onto my baking soda. Pay attention to this color change. Here we go. Ooh, so that's kind of cool. So let me bring up this one next to it. I know it's kind of hard to tell, and I know it kind of looks purple in the frame here, and they do look very similar, but what I'm seeing from my viewpoint is a very dark blue. I would say this is just completely blue. All right, so our color change for this one, you can write that down. Cup number 3 turned a blue color. And so, as well on your assignment, make sure you write down what you think the pH level of this chemical is as well. All right. Whew. Last but not least. Okay, so this one is soap. And I've never tested soap yet, and I was hoping to have another chemical for this one, milk of magnesia, which is one that we kind of talked about in class a little bit. But soap is going to have to do for this final cup, cup number 4. And I'm kind of running out of my acid base indicator here, so we have the perfect amount of this. And so here it goes, last cup. Let's see what color this one changes. Here we go. Interesting. So, to be quite honest, I was not expecting this color change. I was actually anticipating this one to be a little bit more blue, kind of green, yellow, because from what I read, soaps are supposed to actually have a pH above 7, and they're supposed to be basic. But based off of this color change, knowing that our acid-base indicator turns acids red, I think it's safe to say that this soap is slightly acidic. All right, so you can write down that color change on your assignment as well. And there you have it. So I'm going to bring all these chemicals back into the screen here. Hopefully you can see all of them. Okay. All I can really tell is that cup 2 and cup number 4 are very, very close in color. Just give me a second here. Just wanted to open up my computer. All right. And so on your assignment, so for each of these 4 cups, you should have indicated the color change that we've seen from cup 1 all the way to cup 4 using the table that you filled out in your pre-lab questions. You should then have been able to write down what you think the pH of each of these chemicals was. And the pH will obviously tell you whether or not one of these chemicals is acidic or basic. And keep in mind, right, a chemical with a pH from 0 to 6 is considered acidic. A chemical with a pH from 8 to 14 is considered basic, and 7 is neutral. All right, so that is the experiment for you. Hopefully that helped you out a little bit. If you do want to try it at home because you have the resources and materials, by all means, feel free. Let me just go over this last part of the assignment with you. So after you've completed the experiment and after you've thought about what you think the pH of each of these chemicals is, I want you to take a few minutes to investigate each of these chemicals more in-depthly. So I want you to actually look up what the actual pH of lemon juice is. How close was that to your prediction? And do the exact same for the ginger ale, for the baking soda, as well as the soap. All right, so that is the experiment. Your assignment should be well underway. And if you have any other questions about this one, or if you need some help doing it at home, feel free to give a shout.